Hey, Brad, what's going on?
Hey, Scott, thank you very much for that. And guys, don't worry, even though Dan's not here, I can handle it. Been doing this for 17 years here at Trade Ideas, building the most incredible idea generation tool on the market. I mean, we used to just say we're an idea generation tool, but it really is so much more than that. It's really a stock trading platform. It gives you the ideas to trade, but also the ability to not only send those orders directly to your broker or link up with your broker, but to manage your portfolio in our Brokerage Plus interface. So it's really a combination of tools that really assist you in your trading. This is our Wednesday Q&A. It's rather interactive. I'm going to give a little bit of a presentation at the beginning on our software. I'm just going to kind of walk through some different features and functions of it. I don't really have a roadmap necessarily, and I'll keep it kind of flexible for you guys to ask some questions and send me in a direction that maybe you're interested in. I know we just completed a test drive not too long ago. We had a really big holiday promotion. We've got a lot of new users using our software. So I could make it as intense as you want it, or I could keep it as high level. So I'll leave that up to you to kind of decide. I have a quick little PowerPoint. I have to give you the disclaimer. We are not a registered investment advisor. We're a software technology firm. We focus specifically on Trade Ideas Pro and Trade Ideas Web, the application that I'm going to be showing you today. If you need to speak to a registered investment advisor, seek one out. It's not going to be found here. The symbols and stocks that I talk about today should just be for educational purposes only. Don't construe these as investment advices or something that you should get into tomorrow morning in the pre-market. So we are very honored to be recognized in the Inc. 5000 for the fourth time in a row. It's pretty rare that that happens. We are expecting to appear there next year as well. So like I said, we've been doing this for 17 years and really just kind of hitting our stride right now with respect to our notoriety and people finding us. So we're really excited about that. I'm going to just take you on a tour. I don't really have a presentation here, so let's just kind of dive right into the software. The software can be as simple as you want it, or it can be incredibly, detailed, and I don't want to say complex, but if you're mathematically inclined, you can do so many different things with it. Whether it's using our custom formulas or using our backtesting tool to create and craft a strategy, backtest it to really optimize it, and then maybe even automate it with our Brokerage Plus application. So you can do all of that here, but at its most basic level, it's an alerting tool. We started off at the very beginning with just an alert window. Close that. An alert window, letting you know what stocks are making new highs and new lows for the day, and added some filters to that. It started off with just a couple filters. What about the price? You're looking for stocks between a certain price range, certain volume for the day. Maybe it's up a certain percentage for the day. And slowly over the years, we've added filters and added ways to really customize the tool. What you see right now is Trade Ideas Pro. That's on my desktop right here. This is an application. We do have Trade Ideas Web, which runs inside of a web browser, very, very similar to what you're looking at here. It has free-floating windows, it has container windows, it has channels, has everything that Trade Ideas Pro has with the exception of Brokerage Plus. And we do have plans to add that particular module to the web version. I don't have a date on that, but it is really the gap in the web version, and we do plan on filling that. The channel bar over here on the left is a great way to get started. Like I said, I know we have a lot of new users, and to get started right away without learning how to have to configure your windows, you can just peruse through the different channels that we have, and they're all kind of theme oriented. Right now we're on the after hours channel, which is looking at stocks that are moving after hours, having volume after hours, and that kind of information. You see over here on the right, it's kind of a streaming type of display. Over on the left, we have a list type of window. So those are the different types of visual windows that we have, and no matter which type of window you see an alert or a symbol in, you can just click on it and it'll pull up that information into our charts that we've built. And we also have a single stock window, which is a great drill down window that lets you really take a deep dive into a stock, not only from the different filter values that we have, and it's all customizable, But you have this detail tab. You can get some news on it. Take a look at the profile. What's the company do? What sector, industry group are they in? How are the insiders trading it? Are they selling? Are they buying the stocks? And then we've got a similar tab right here, which lets you find stocks in similar nature, in the similar industry group. And it's a really nice way to find stocks that are moving in sympathy and haven't quite moved yet, potentially. So those are some of the windows that we have, and each one of these channels is curated in a little different fashion. So if I scroll down here, you can just see some of the different themes that we have. If I go to this explosive winners right here, brings up a bunch of top list windows of winners, really, winners for today, for the week, for the year, and then I've got a streaming window. So we've got all these different types of ways to look at our data. Like right here, for instance, a top list window, and let me stretch it out. It can be simple like this, where we're just looking at a ranked list of stocks that have a change from the close, right? That's the biggest change from the close. You can pull those up and take a look at it. But then you can take and use a list like this in a much different way when the market is moving at a high rate of speed. Let me find another channel right here. I'm looking for the active traders channel, the experts only. And if I click on that one, I'm presented with a couple top lists down here at the bottom that are very unique. It's a different way to shape a window like that, where now I'm looking at stocks that have the biggest bounce from a loser's perspective, and other one here where I'm looking at winning stocks that have the biggest pullback. So different ways that you can shape, and if you want to know how we did it, you can always right click in the window and select configure and take a look how we set it up. What filters did we use? What sort order are we using? All this information is right here for you to see exactly how we did it. And we have a lot of different channels right here with a lot of different window types in it for you to take a look. And another one, which is crazy, and if you're prone to having seizures, you'll probably have one here, but let me find the channel. I renamed it because Trader's Vault. So you come over here, and this is like a repository of windows. I would never expect anyone to use this particular channel right here the way that it is, but maybe you can find a window that's interesting. Maybe the turbo brakes window is something that you may want to look at. Well, you can just grab that from this particular channel right here. You can pin it, and then you can go around and you can find the next channel that you want to look at. Maybe this EV related, which is finding some really volatile stocks right now, really great opportunities to trade. And then you can bring that turbo brakes window up with it, incorporate it into your layout. And once you've brought all these windows together, once you've gone through the different channels and found the windows that best suit you, you can create your own layout and your own workspace, and then save it right here to the channel bar from the gear up here. And you can create and save your own layout. You can save your own window or your own set of windows, and you can have up to 5 different customized channels right here. So if you don't have any audio, I would suggest, Claudio, that you log off and then log back on, because I do believe there's audio. All right, Gantry, I'll get to your question in a little bit when I pull up Brokerage Plus, but I will show you that, and I'll show you how to take Holly, how to automate it, turn it off, and turn it on. Let's go to, so we've got some channels here, the Holly AI, the Holly 2.0, Neo AI, and the Omni AI. And this is the Omni AI is a consolidation of the 3 different AIs that we do. Let me bring up this channel right here, and I'll talk a little bit about how we're using AI technology to create strategies and to optimize those strategies during the day. After the day, rather. So this Omni AI, these are the trades that were generated today. They were suggestions that were provided in real time. You can see the entry time when that trade was signaled. It would have given an audible alert. It would have flashed on this screen. And if you had it set up, you could set it up to automatically buy it, automatically sell it, or like most people do, just go ahead and click on it, take a look at it, and make a decision if you want to participate and get into that trade. Maybe not now, maybe a little bit later, maybe set a price alert. There are a lot of different ways that you can utilize the AI technology to your advantage. It's not really well, it's definitely not a red light, green light system, but it is providing you ideas throughout the day. So let's go through some of the trades today, and I'll sort it right here on time. So right here at the bottom, this was the very first signal that was called out, GMHI. It was a short, okay? Now, every one of these trades that were ideas that we suggest right here has a risk management stop in it. So this definitely got hit, but not in the conservative mode. So let's take a look at it. Let's zoom into the day. This is today right here on a 5-minute chart, and we can zoom in a little bit more, and you can see exactly when the signal was called and what was going on here. So it made a sell signal right here, started to go down, and it quickly reversed and hit that stop. We have these different annotations on the chart and this overlay here that lets you know the visual references to where that stop was placed. Got stopped out. Now, you could have chosen to participate again in this stock, reverse it, or do whatever you want, but this is just giving you that visual reference of where the idea was called, where the stop was placed, and what happened to the stock for the day. So effectively what happened here, we have 3 different modes of profitability that we provide to you in each one of these calls. There's a conservative mode, a moderate mode, and an aggressive mode. Hopefully you guys can get this concept, because we're treating a trade in a variety of different ways. Everybody doesn't trade it the same way. It's a very personal thing. So when a trade is called out, we have this conservative mode. Every strategy and every trade has what we call a time stop. It has a time expiration. And it's what's used in the optimization process to determine, how is the backtesting result of that strategy. So in the conservative mode, it has that time stop, and maybe it's optimized on an hour time frame or a 3-hour time frame, and that's the optimization. That'll be the time stop. Well, in this particular case, it did a profit save, and it did a profit save because what happened was, if you take a look at, let me zoom in a little bit more, and I'll scroll back. So it got profitable right away, and it was into the money, by about 50 cents right here. And when that started to retrace back up to the original entry price, and it went back to a profitability of 0 after having looked like it was the right signal. We just want you to be profitable. We don't want you to necessarily be holding losing positions. So what it did was it gave you a suggestion to do a profit save and exit for a 0 profit. Really just get out right there. Now we have an aggressive mode, which would hold it until the stop right here. Essentially, you're going to try to hold this position until the very end of the day, provided you don't get stopped out. Stop is still right here, and you would have gotten stopped out right here in the moderate mode. And that gives you the stop price, or what you would have lost had you been stopped out, and that's $100. And that's because I'm sizing this right here based upon losing $100 if I get stopped out. So you can see the share sizes are all different for all of these, because it's all going to size me based upon where that stop price is and how much I can possibly lose if I hit that stop price. Then we have this third mode, the aggressive mode. The aggressive mode says, nope, no stops for me. I'm going to stay in this trade till the end of the day and take what I get and let me know what the profit is. And so you can see here that we lost $651. It continued to go up if you didn't get out, and that would have been, a much bigger loser for you at that point. You would have lost 26% opposed to the stop at 4% or the profit save at 0. And the reason why I'm kind of going into that detail is because every day is different. Some days are continuum type days. Some days are breakout days and they never look back. And that's when, the type of aggressive or moderate's the right thing. Other days it, maybe gap up and you trade down and it has a little bit of swing to it. That's when the conservative would, be a little bit better. And we're providing you, based upon this $100 risk, this is how it would have done in conservative mode. You would have made money. In moderate mode, and I could click this one time to get to moderate mode, you'd see I lost $133. Okay, well, that's not terrible. So then let's go to the aggressive, and I think you can click that, and it'll get you right into the aggressive mode right here. And you can see exactly what you would have lost or made had you stayed in every one of these positions until the end of the day. So that's kind of how it works. Here's one. Let's just pop over. I'm not going to spend all day on the AI, but you pop over to TG right here, and let me zoom out a little bit and take kind of a closer look as to what happened with this stock. And here we had a nice, what time was it? 7:20. You can see 7:21. is when the signal occurred. Right here at 21.19, that line is letting you know where that buy occurred. And this right here ran up pretty quick and it hit its target. Now the target again is just a suggestion. Maybe you get out of all of it. Maybe you get out of a little bit. Maybe you don't do anything. These are all choices and trading decisions that you have to make, you know, if you're participating along with this. It happened to be a good exit right there because essentially, I mean, it did go back there at the end of the day and you had other opportunities, but it would have come right back. And this is so typical for people that are just starting out in the market. You know, they think they get into a good trade and they never, you know, if they want to stay in that trade for a while and they want to establish a position, very rarely does it always just stay positive unless you're a nice savvy trader and you know exactly what you're doing. You know, a lot of times it comes back and, you know, if you got into this right here, you would have, I mean, you almost got stopped out, but it just kind of held around there and continued on. Now, something like TG, take a longer term approach at it, you can see that it had a big after hours day yesterday. So that's the post market on Tuesday right here, and it had a big move, right? So today it just kind of found its range right here. But if you look at the relative volume is 34 times its normal volume, and that's really significant. It's indicative by, you can see the chart here, this is the volume for the day, and this is the previous day. Really nothing happened. A little bit at the end, nothing. So just different ways to analyze the stock. Let me pull it over here, take a little longer. You can take the longer term view right here. And again, to scroll out and to take a bigger view, what I do is I hold the control key down, and then on my mouse wheel, I just move it down to get that view, and I move it up to kind of scroll in. And if I want to go back in time, I release the control key and I'll just use my scroll wheel and I can go back like that. That pops you right to the beginning. We have a couple annotations that we put on the chart. We put a swing exit that gives you a longer term perspective, letting you know that there'd be some volatility getting into a position right here and holding that overnight. Not too long ago, it was down at this support level right here in the $14 range. So that doesn't mean it's going to come back. It just means that you need to be aware that there's some risk inherent to establishing or trying to establish a position right after this big gap. So just some information for you. And if you're looking at the, well, I'm looking here and I don't see my smart stop. Maybe it's because it was an AI trade. So let me pull in like a different stock right here. We'll take a look at it, and I wonder if I turned it off. I go into properties. Nope, smart risk levels. I don't know. Well, normally we have our intraday smart stop on there, and that would give you an intraday idea. I need to kind of look into that and see why it's not populating on here. So there you go. This is the AI giving you the 3 different profit modes of it. You can toggle right here. The conservative profit let you know that if you were to add up all these different percentages for each one of these moves, that you would have had a cumulative percentage here of 8.21%. If you go to moderate, that's negative 5.1%, and aggressive is negative 39%. So that's pretty bad right there. You don't like that. And then one other thing, you can go to this tools area up here, and you can go to options under AI trade size. This is where you can tell it exactly how do you want this profitability to be determined. Do you want to do it based on your stop loss, or maybe you just want to commit $5,000 to every trade, and you buy the appropriate amount of shares that will equal $5,000. Let's see how that would have done. So let's go ahead and hit save. And let's go back to, we know it's going to be the conservative mode. So that I would have netted there, I would have made $409 using that particular method. Another method that we have, and I'm not necessarily that fond of it, but some people do it, go to options and just go 100 shares per trade. No matter what price it is, you're just going to commit 100 shares, and that's how you're going to do it. And you would have made 122 bucks. So, you know, that's kind of how it works. And you see here it's reflective in the share column, letting you know the share size that you're using. Talk a little bit about Brokerage Plus. So if I bring in the Brokerage Plus channel right here, if you don't have Brokerage Plus open, it'll automatically open in this space right down here. I'll click it in a sec, but we also have this button up at the top that we've recently added that launches Brokerage Plus. You can do it here from New Brokerage Plus, but if you hit the sim, it'll automatically log you in to Brokerage Plus in the simulated mode. So everybody, whether you're standard or premium, have access to the simulated trading. And I highly recommend, this is the best way to learn how to trade. I mean, bar none. You don't have to commit capital to it. Although when you commit capital to a trade, you are a little bit more vested in it. More emotion is attached to it. But this is a great way to get you savvy to the whole process of entering the trade, sizing yourself appropriately, managing that trade. So let's we click on Brokerage Plus right here. I've got Brokerage Plus open on my other monitor, so I'll just drag it in over here. And I like to look at a lot of different columns. I don't think the standard, has all of those, but I'll talk a little bit about what I look at when I'm looking at Brokerage Plus. Right here, this is connected to the simulation, and this is more kind of my way of looking at swing trading. I mimic some other accounts and I do it here because this is a much more, it's a much more engaging way to be able to manage your portfolio and to be able to look at it. Just to start, in the upper left-hand corner right here, we're looking at our own personal equity curve. We started off today flat. Obviously, I was holding some positions because I've got some long-term gains in it, but we started off flat from today's P&L perspective, and immediately I was down, pretty significantly. But this gives you that snapshot of how that day progressed and, how the market activity affected your profitability. And you can look at this in so many different ways. I'm looking at my entire portfolio, but you could slice it up. You could, if you were using different strategies to get in, you could segment it and see how did you do in these particular trades. I could go in and I could assign, my X and my TGB and other positions to metals, and then I could just look at how did my metals do. And so there's a lot of different ways that you can use this just from a visualization perspective of your portfolio. But this is how I actively manage positions through the day. And right now we do connect to interactive brokers. TD Ameritrade, any day now this is going online. We're in QA testing right now, so we're doing live testing, just making sure everything works before we hand it out to you guys. E-Trade's coming very shortly after that, and then Alpaca. So E-Trade will be here by the end of the year. This will be fired up here, within, I don't know, I'm not going to give a time, but pretty shortly. So that way you can start off simulation if you're new to it and figure out how you size it, how does the volatility work for you, is this too much risk, and just a good way to go. And so learn it in the simulation, keep track of it, not only from the day's perspective, but keep track of it from your overall perspective. And we just added this calendar tab right here, which is going to give you a perusal. It's going to give you a perusal into your trading day, and you can click on any of the days, and it'll spawn all the trades that occurred that day. And we're going to incorporate a lot of other account details and data into this. So there's going to be a full trade management, not only from the active management of your orders and your trades during the day, but being able in hindsight to go back and take a look at your performance and how you did, and compare it to how you did compared to the leading indicators out there, like the spiders or the diamonds or the Qs. So that's the calendar. Holly AI, this right here allows you to take Brokerage Plus and to automate the AI strategies that are being generated, and you can turn them all on. You could turn just your long on, but ultimately you do decide how you want to size yourself and get into your position. So your AI trade mode, are you going to go in at conservative, or are you going to go in at moderate? Are you going to size yourself on dollars, shares, or based upon the stop loss? These make a big difference in really your profitability of it. And then are you going to assure that you get into the trade and lose a few pennies in the process doing a market order, or are you going to do a limit order, a limit delta, maybe a little bit below the last or a little bit above the last? And again, choices that you have to make to before you actually enter into the position here. So those are the trading instructions, and you can set that up for the long trades, the short trades, and if you want, you can set it up to re-enter as well. So if you happen to get stopped out and then it recrosses that threshold as it's approaching the original entry price, you can get back into it and manage it from that. As soon as one of these trades is generated, it'll populate over on your position tab. It'll set up when you're doing the Holly AI automation. It'll automatically put in the time stop. It'll automatically put in the stop loss and the profit target. So it puts all of that in, so you don't really need to manage it. I'm not suggesting that's what you do. I don't do that, but some people do. for sure. And it's really all about your own threshold, your own risk tolerance. And I've been trading for a long time, so I prefer to kind of look at it, touch it, feel it, see if it's something I want to get into it. And honestly, even if it's not interactive brokers that you're connected to, we link up with this external linking connector that allows you to just drag a little widget that we've created over into the brokerage application that you're using, and it'll link. So when you click on a symbol here, like I'll show you real quick what it's doing. So if I just bring in something like Notepad, and let me bring in a new one, and I bring it over here, and I go Tools, External Linking, and I add a link. You only need to do this once. Brought it over to Notepad, hit OK. And now when I click on a symbol, it's going to automatically populate in that brokerage application, the order entry panel, the level 2 window. Maybe you've got a news widget in there. So that's all you do. And so very, very quickly, even if I'm not integrated through Brokerage Plus, when I see something in one of the alert windows, and this happens to be my custom window right here, so even when I'm here, I don't even need to be in Brokerage Plus. I could, click on this right here, take a look at it. It's my linking over there, and I could decide, do I want to get into it? I can right click and I can trade this, and I can set up the different strategies that I want to trade it from this perspective. I could use my Brokerage Plus order entry panel right here, decide to do shares, or maybe I want to do $5,000 worth, click dollars, and then I could change that to $5,000 worth. Do I want to do a market limit? So I use the order entry panel a ton. When you click on a symbol, it automatically knows the price point that you're in right there, so you can quickly drill into a price, use your scroll wheel to move down, set it up real quick, and you just hit your order. We also allow you to send orders from the chart here using these drag buttons here. So depending upon how you've got it configured, and this is done in the strategies tab right here. I've got a default chart long, and that's this particular strategy, 5,000 at market, and I've got a default chart strategy short right here, and this is looking like it's selling 1,000 at the market. And all you do is you just drag that right to the price point, and it'll put that order in right here. And so if this stock moves up to $1.70, I'm going to put my order to get in at that point right there. And I can move it around. I can move it over here on the daily and give myself more flexibility. Or you can just select it, hit delete, and cancel it. So you can do all of that right there from the chart as well. A lot of different ways to do things, and people will find their own sweet spot of how to use the software. Price alerts. I mean, this is something that I can't even rave enough about. The price alerts I use probably more than anything. Well, I use the alert windows in the top list to find ideas, right? And to see things, pull it up on the chart. But when I see it on a chart, I then make a decision like, okay, well, I don't want to get into it right here. Maybe when it crosses this threshold right here, I want to look at it. Or if it pulls back maybe to this level right here, I'm going to right click, I'm going to create my price alert. It's going to be a long idea. And then I can put a note here. And then when it crosses that threshold, no matter what I'm looking, I could be pulling, like I had while we were talking, or while I was talking a few moments ago, I had this MRIN price alert trigger. And I had it set up in a range right here. It was just kind of trading in its range today and dropped down. But right here, it just crossed that threshold. And click on it, pull it up, and see if it's something that you want to participate in. So it looks like the SPYs, we had a nice bad print here. Dragged all the way down here, and it cleared all my price alerts. That's great. Well, you win some, you lose some. But the price alerts are really, it's just a great bread and butter approach to finding a signal, pulling it up. Maybe it's not your time, but you can set that signal to, be alerted to that. All right, let me take a look at the questions. I haven't even, so we're a half hour in, so we should be looking at some questions here. But I appreciate it. Looks like Barry, you're helping out tremendously. I'll give Barry a plug. So Barry runs the trading room. Let me pop it in here. You want to go to our website. And trading room right up here at the top. It'll take you right into the trading room. We also broadcast this on YouTube if you don't want to bring in that application or in this web. It's a web thing. It's not even an application. I don't know why you would want to, but maybe on your phone or something. But he runs a trading room. It's a great place where he displays and talks about trade ideas, our software, how to use it. He's trading live during the day, answering questions. Pretty phenomenal. So I highly recommend if you're new to trade ideas and you have not taken a look at it. It's free, so it doesn't cost you anything. But it's just a good way to share information. And it's a nice community that we've established there. So Hans, your P&L columns are blank during the day. Are you talking about AI or are you talking about your Brokerage Plus? Because we do provide P&L in both of these windows, in the Brokerage Plus and the AI. So Todd, I don't think there's going to be an AI for trading options. Right now, what we do with options, we're really just taking a look at the root symbol and the consolidation of all of the option volume and giving you an idea of how's this option volume compare to normal. It's really good information, but I don't think we're going to build any strategies off of it. So if I go to the unusual options channel, it's going to pull up a few top list windows here, our multi-strategy, kind of the same layout. But where we've got this window down here, which I think really highlights the best data point that we're looking at specific to options, and that's the percent options volume today. So when something's trading at 234,000% of options volume, there's something significant going on. Either it's never traded any options volume and just started, or it's just really starting to pick up. So that's a good data point that we have here, but I don't think we're going to do something like that. You could always use the odds maker, the backtesting tool, to create something like that and create a strategy, backtest it, optimize it, and make it a little bit better. So Tim, you're asking about the pre-market feed not beginning until 4 a.m. Pacific time, 7 a.m. Eastern time. And the reason, we do have plans to change that, but there's some architectural work that needs to go into it. It's really all about our end of day routine and receiving information from our data providers, the vendors, and consolidating it and running our data. Because what we do at Trade Ideas, we're not just revending data, we're creating new data points. We do create them on the fly, but we also take those data points and database it all and do a lot of end of day routine stuff. But we're in the process of really breaking that up, compartmentalizing it. And we think that by doing that, it'll enable us to get this thing started a little bit earlier. So that is our goal. So like Frank, what I was showing earlier, I think that's a good way to find bullish stocks on a pullback. That's where you're using that top list where let me pull it in and I'll open the window up and you can kind of take a look and we'll go through. It's from the experts only. So on something like this right here, if we go into the configure and take a look at what we're looking at, I'm going to hide unused here. So we're looking at all stocks greater than $2, relative volume, not really any meaningful value there. It needs to be doing half of its normal volume. Volume today, 20,000 shares, nothing there. It needs to be up 3% from the close. Average daily volume, 100,000. The sort here is change from the close. So what we're doing here is we're just creating a top list window of stocks that have the biggest change from the close. But what we're doing inside of the window here is we're using a kind of a converse type of sort where we're bringing in how much has the stock moved over the last 30 minutes. And then we're sorting on the worst. So now you get that flavor. I don't know if that's going to give you that wedge that you're looking for, but that's how, I look for pullbacks. And then you don't have to sort it based upon the change from the close. You can go back into this and you could make it a range right here where, okay, it's going to be changed from the close between maybe 5%, and then you put your top value in here and add some more filters. So you don't need to do it that way. And then you can even create an alert window from that. So a lot of different ways. You can get running down alerts on a stock that is pretty strong for the day and use that through the filters and then the running down. So different ways to paint the picture. As far as breaking a wedge, I'm not sure about that. So with respect to filtering bad prints, I do it manually. I mean, we have to do it manually when we're talking about bad prints on the chart. But what you can do, we do have a filter in here, and I think it's called distance from the inside market. God, we used to. It's been a long time though. Barry, do you remember what that filter is called? Let me just go through this real quick. Wonder if we took it out. All right, well, I don't know. We used to have a filter here that allowed us to filter on distance from the inside market. Oh well. Anyway, you can see there are just a ton of different filters that we have, and the search routine that we have is pretty nice. Like if you want to say change from close, you just need to type a little bit of each one. It'll even if you type change close like that, it'll bring you all of those, or position and range, and you can get all the different ranges that we have. Well, I'm sorry, I thought we had that filter, but it must have been either removed or no, it wasn't decimal. So Alex, a couple of years ago, we embarked on a plan to create a path to cryptocurrency, and the reason why we didn't do it at the time was because of the 24-hour aspect of the servers. And we think we've done some great architectural cleanup work that will enable us to approach that in the future. We are going to do futures first before we move into cryptos, but that's something that we will. You're right, Barry. You're right. So in an alert window, like, do I ever use the software anymore? So in the alert window, we've got this filter distance from the inside market. And what you can do here is if you add that filter and you do something like, I don't want to be more than 1% away from it, it'll avoid any type of triggering if there is a print like that prints away from the bid or the ask. So it does only work on the alert window, because that's your real-time window. The top lists are they're bulk updated every few seconds, so that you don't get that real-time streaming results like you do here for the alert window or the multi-strategy window. The multi-strategy window, by the way, what you're looking at here, and I've got this derived data stream as one of my windows that I have on my custom layout. This is a great one because it's always giving you ideas. It doesn't mean that you buy everything coming through or sell everything coming through that's negative, but it's giving you that flow of information. It's like a news reader, and when you're in stocks and you see something like that come up, you may want to take a look and pull it up, and this happens to be one that I've been trading, and you say this streams all day long, and when you right click in it, go into strategies, you can see there are like 20 plus different strategies that it's looking at. So it's all done in this really small window, this really tiny workspace right here, and it's giving me these ideas from all these different strategies. Maybe this one here, the high volume intraday move, is the one that, or the bullish stocks under 20 happens to be doing the most, and maybe I don't want to see that. I could just go in here, I could find that bullish stocks under 20, and I can just uncheck it. And now that particular strategy will stop streaming here. This was another one. This was an AI call today. So, when you trade something and it comes through, it's just an idea that you can pull it up and take a look and see what's going on. Yeah, Tim, that's correct. So on the multi-strategy windows, it's not really giving you an alert for long. Like, well, let's do it like this. I've got them green and red in here, and it's all based upon the color scheme that it's set up. So if I'm looking at it doesn't mean this new 52-week high is a long, right? I mean, it's just giving you the information. Maybe the day dictates that a 52-week high should be bought because that's the kind of day we're having, and you don't even need to really consider the symbol. But so I'm not really saying it's a long, but what we've done with something like this, you can go in and you can see the color coding for it, and you can set the background and the foreground color to indicate that. You know, these are moving average crosses. To me, it's a kind of a yellow background, giving me that kind of flavor that it's just a moving average cross. And again, you can set these up to your own custom color so that it gives you the informational flow that you want. You know, this long-term low right here, deep red. Maybe it's a great buying opportunity, you know, but not that it is, but maybe it is. That's why I wouldn't necessarily assign it to a long or a short. But if you're doing something like creating a strategy in an alert window like this right here, and you want to back test it, you know, and this is a turbo breaks up and you go to back test, you do have to tell it whether you're buying it or selling it. So you do have to give it that bit of information right there. You even know what a turbo break.
WWR.
So that was a price alert that just went off, WWR. I have it set up to give me this audible notification, this action right here where it plays a sound, and I've got it set up to text to speech. So I hear the actual symbol. So when I'm in the other room and I hear this, if it's a symbol I don't really care about, I just blow it off. Maybe I set that price alert a month ago and I don't even care anymore about it, but maybe it's something I'm trading in today, and you know, I hear that symbol and I can just kind of pop back in my office and take a look at what that symbol's doing. Or maybe I'm working on something else and I hear that, I can bring up my trading application and take a look. So price alerts, super powerful, like I said, and if they're used right, it's just a great bread and butter tool. Yeah, so well, we just did that actually, Ken. I pulled up this turbo breaks window. We back tested it. It's a terrible strategy. This is what a bad strategy looks like. I'll show you what a good one looks like. It has obviously way too many trades. It's not really, every window is not really meant to be a strategy. You know, this happens to be a turbo breaks up strategy, but that doesn't mean you should buy every instance of every alert. If you look at history and you go to today, you know, let me go back into the market. So 1 o'clock we ended. So I'm going to scroll back and just look at the frequency of symbols. You know, that's too many for any type of meaningful strategy. If you do something like, and I'm only going to optimized mean reversion. I'm only going to give this one because I know the strategy backtests incredibly well. It's not very easy to get all of the trades because some of these trades are super low volume. So if I do a history, just do all, it'll go back and we can look at the 3-month average volume here of these trades. It's not for the faint of heart. Like, I don't trade stocks that are 20,000 shares or 39,000 average shares, but some of them are legitimate here. And so that's the history. But what you can do here is take something like this. Let's go back to real time and go to back test it. We're going to tell it we don't want to trade the first 5 minutes of the market. We don't want to trade the last hour and a half. That is, I don't want to initiate a position in the last hour and a half of the market. I'm going to hold it, or I'm going to try to hold it for 45 minutes. And I'm going to give myself a 50-cent stop. Probably be some slippage in that if the stock is so thin like they are, but I'm going to give it 50 cents. I'm back testing for the whole gamut. Everything I got, 3 months of data, 64 trading days. This tells me kind of a summary of that, and I'm going to buy it. So anytime this thing drops down, this is basically alerting me to something that drops down so significantly that it's more than, I think, 2 standard deviations away from its mean right there. So it's a big drop, more than normal. We're going to buy it and hope it's going to rebound back. So if you were perfect and you could trade this and get that price that alert went off at, you'd be golden here. So you started off with $50,000, and after those 3 trading months, 3 months, you would have had $20,000 more You can accommodate for commission. You could accommodate for slippage. Maybe you're losing 2 pennies. Or no, not 2 pennies. And so that's accommodating for that. Maybe there's commission you're trading. Maybe you just moved to a commission-free broker and you just found yourself at the ability to save $5,000 right there. So that's how that works. And now you can see a calendar. If I go back to November, you can see all the trading days, and you could drill into, you know, the days, and this happens to be a ton of trades on that particular day. And you can see by the color here that that would happen to be a super profitable day for us. If I hover over it, you can see the range here on the equity curve of what those days account for. So a lot of just consistent winning here. You can click on one of these more moderate days and see, you know, what we have here, the number of trades, the profitability of each one of those trades. And that's the odds maker, but the real value of the odds maker is this optimization tab. And this is what we do at the AI. This is how the AI kind of works. It doesn't use the odds maker tool, but it uses the same mathematics to determine how to optimize the strategy. So an example, this particular strategy right here, the mean reversion, is looking for stocks between $10 and $90. Well, this is breaking it down into $10 intervals and letting me know how did each one of these $10 segments do from a profit factor, sum total of all the winning trades over the losing trades, the win percentage, the average winner, or the average winner, the total amount that you made, and the number of trades that make up that bucket. Just like anything, you can drill into each one of those buckets and see, you know, what happened there. But this is giving you that breakdown, and what the information is conveying to you is that maybe based on this information that I'm looking at just right here, I had 23 trades in this last bucket of $80 to $90. One, they're expensive. Maybe I don't want to tie up my capital doing that. And I'm only winning 34% of the time. I'm practically breaking even, making a tiny bit of money. Maybe I don't need that. So I could go right click here. This is a shortcut, by the way. If you right click, you can set the maximum value to 79.99. It's going to open up the config window. I could change that. If I want to change it to 80, I can do it. I actually like keeping it 79.99 because when I go back into my strategies, when I have it something like that, I know that I did it because I was using some optimization from the odds maker. So, you know, that's how you do that. But so that's just price, right? That's kind of an easy example. We also have time of day, right? We traded this thing from broken down into 30-minute intervals. I could change the interval factor to every 15 minutes if that's what I wanted to do. So breaking it down into each 15 minutes, how did I do? Looks pretty good. I don't think I need to optimize it. Maybe we want to stop trading at 11 o'clock. Maybe this part doesn't help. I don't know. Just giving you the information. But this other filters area where I've got access to, and I didn't run it with it, but when you run it, I'll show you how to do it. This one right here, right click, backtest strategy. Under the advanced area right here, I'm going to use all available columns. I'm going to simulate the buy again, and you'll see the difference. So right here, this used the columns, gave me access to the columns that I have in my window here. So it added those and also the columns that or the different filters that I'm using. But this one right here, as soon as it completes, that last mile is killer. All right, so let's go back into optimization, other filters. Now this drop down, I have access to every single filter that we have in Trade Ideas. Now that can be overwhelming, but this is what the computer's doing, something that you really can't do effectively. It's go through hundreds of different strategies and hundreds of different filter combinations, really thousands of different filter combinations. So just a tremendous number of different optimization runs that it does. So right here, in, you know, just looking at it, we go to 10-day range, breaking it down into dollars, percentage. And you can just scroll down. Remember, this is a good strategy, so there's going to be a tremendous amount of optimization already done to it. Hasn't been done in years. But as you scroll down and you start to come to something like this right here, and maybe all of these are red, because in a non-optimized strategy, what you're going to find is that, you know, it gets to a point and then everything below that happens to be red. Well, this is how you improve your strategy. And then you use logic like, okay, in this 20-day range here, this is in dollars, when a stock has had a 20-day range of over $20, I haven't been doing quite as good. So even right here, you know, I just not that good. So maybe what I do is we just stop it right here and we set the max value of that filter to this. And we do this a couple different times. Hopefully the logic makes sense as to why you're doing that. And at the end of it, you'll have a strategy that's better than it was before from a back testing perspective, and hopefully giving you more confidence to either use that strategy the next day or optimize it. Each his own, really. Everybody uses it a little bit differently, and but there's tremendous power when you're talking about the ability to optimize the different strategies. Yeah, it's set pretty high. I don't know what Jamie. It's Jamie's window, the turbo brakes, and he's got all kinds of volume pumping through that one. Now, if you're talking about for the mean reversion, it just doesn't test that well. Let's go into it and do. So you want the 30-day volume? I've got 5 days, 3 months, and 10 days. So let's go 3 months. Let's add that filter. Let's set it up to 100,000. I think right now, I don't know if we added K, but we added millions and billions. Let's see if we did K. Nope. Let me do million, see if that worked. Maybe I have to enter through. I know that we've added that feature, so let's just do 100,000. And this is really, I mean, it's that simple to make a change and to go back in and do your back testing. So re-optimizing, you have to do it a lot, to be honest with you, unless you found an incredible strategy. So there's not one answer to that. I made this thing, wow, I made it in probably 5 years ago. Haven't done anything to it. Well, that thing worked out pretty good too. So I'll give it to you guys. You're welcome to tinker and fiddle with it. So I'm just going to go ahead, save it to the cloud, save and share. And I'm going to drop it here in the chat. You guys can just copy that link, add it to your own, load it from the cloud, and then save it to your own cloud, and you can have it. So I dropped it in there. You should have it, Jim. All right, we're about ready to wind this baby down. Let's bring back the presentation. Probably here. All right. Let's see here. This is the trading room. This is actually the trading room in action, not just from our website, but so you can see, this is Barry's screen, or one of them. He's got several. He's trading in an account on another one and trading here and doing simulation and showing you all kinds of good stuff here. So this is our trading room. You can get to it either from our homepage over the top, or you can dial in that web address right there. We do put out a variety of different ebooks. The current one that we have here is revolving around earnings season. So you can download it at trade-ideas.com/earnings. Live support sessions every day, 9 a.m. Pacific time, trade-ideas.com/live. We're a software as a subscription service, guys. We do charge by the month or the year, but this is broken down into the day, about the price of a cup of coffee or a sandwich. If you guys are serious about trading, this should not be a barrier. We are the best at what we do. So if you're serious in the market, looking for some idea generation technology or some tools to help you trade, certainly consider us. We have a holiday promotion here, Holidays. That's not a holiday promotion, but it's a Holly promotion, Holidays, and it's a, I get it, Scott, that's cute. 15% off the first month or year. So depending on whether you do the monthly or the yearly, you can take that percentage discount right off. We do a podcast. I think Sean's doing our most recent podcast. He does a great job. Just look for that on the podcast app, search for Trade Ideas, and you'll find it. We can be reached on social media at Trade Ideas, at QuantBot, at Today Trader. We're on Facebook. We try to answer the phone, but the best way to get a hold of us is through email, info@trade-ideas.com. We also have chat on our website, so you can chat us up there as well. There will be a recording of this sent out to you guys, so if you missed it or tuned out or got bored and you want to watch it again, you'll be able to do that. So, Scott, I think I'm done, and I appreciate everybody coming.
Thank you, Brad. Thanks, everyone. And we're going to get that recording out later on tonight or tomorrow. You get that email follow-up with a link to the playlist. And as usual, just thanks, everyone. Have a nice afternoon.
Bye, everybody.